The Chapman Group presents Best Practices for Developing Your SAM Program to be Best in Class.
When you tune up your program, you should be thinking about 5 key areas. The first area is segmentation. Do I have the right accounts? The second area is people. Do I have the right team? The third is process. Do I have a set way to engage with the clients? The fourth area is knowledge. Do I have the ultimate amount of knowledge so I can effectively serve my top accounts? And the fifth and final area is measurements and metrics. Am I measuring the performance that I expect? When we talk about an effective strategic account management program and or strategy, what it's really about around those top accounts that we want to focus on is to make sure that our revenues and associated margins exceed our expected cost of goods sold and serviced. Then we know we will be operating in a profitable mode with those customers who dictate our future. Today, I'd like to spend a little time around the topic of people, having the right people in the right roles, because client relationships are so dependent upon the relationships between their resources and your people resources. So when we're tuning up our strategic account management program and thinking about our people, there's some important considerations that we should be considering as we enter into a next phase of our program. One is, how do we assess if we really do have the right people relevant to behaviors and aptitudes, skills and competencies in those right roles? There are available assessment instruments out there that can help guide and coach some of the existing team members. It may even be a methodology to incorporate into your reinvention of those resources in the future. So certainly some form of assessment tools would be a great recommendation in tuning up your program. Another key part of tuning up your people is, do my people clearly understand the key expectations we have of them, especially as it relates to goals, strategies, high-value activities? When we've assessed high performers, one thing we've really learned a lot around is that high performance is quite often driven by skills, aptitude, and expectations. And quite often, expectations is the one area that's not always clear for team members. Once I've got expectations clearly defined, another key component of tuning up my people is, do I really understand the supporting team required to have an effective account management team? The resources within my organization that should be allocated to those teams, as well as even resources from the client organization as part of our integrated team. And don't forget those executive sponsors, a critical component of the people component. And finally, when I'm tuning up those people resources, the final consideration I need to have is certainly reward systems. Do I have a reward system that influences the right behaviors that I'm expecting from my people? Now, we may already have designated salaries and commission components, but have I considered bonus components that would include KPIs, key performance indicators, that would help influence the behavior of my team? What's going to influence that behavior? We know that unless the right influences of behavior is there, I probably won't get the right behavior, which will lead to the right outcomes from my program. Do you know if you've got the right people to execute on your strategic account management program? Well trained, well aligned, well informed, so that you can maximize the investment that you're making in your program through those team members. We're doing this series because we know that there are some very critical components that determine the success and or failure of any program. We're touching on all those 5 critical elements: segmentation, people, process, knowledge, measurements, and metrics. The next session will be focused on process, a very critical element of any program. By process, we mean is the key efforts and initiatives within your program predictable, repeatable, and measurable? Does my organization know exactly what's expected of them daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and annually? The question that we want to ask ourselves, because we know that process dictates success: do I have process?
Get more information on account segmentation and how to optimize the enterprise customer lifecycle on our website at chapmanhq.com. Also, subscribe to our video series at themetricschannel.com for best practices and executive insights on mastering customer relationships with your strategic accounts.